Go, bud.
Streaming live via the internet. Welcome to ISP Radio, your weekly source for ISP-related news, events, and interviews with industry experts. If you deliver internet via fiber optic, wireless, coax, or any other way, you're in the right place. Chat live with us weekly via ispradio.com every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now a brief word from our sponsors. Link Technologies, providing ISP consulting, support, and hardware for wireless ISPs. TowerCoverage.com, providing online RF coverage maps.
Welcome to another edition of ISP Radio. I'm your host, Steve Grabiel, broadcasting from the office in Moriarty, and got Dennis, Moriarty, New Mexico, and I got Dennis on the other end producing the show and co-hosting it from St. Louis, Missouri. Not a lot going on here. We got some beneficial rain out here, which definitely need in the desert Southwest, and been working on my first fiber optic project, running a short 1,000 feet of fiber optics to a area behind the office here to get my feet wet in fiber optics. Got a Microtix fiber switch, and got another Microtix to route it, and got the Microtix outside CPE, the media converter for the clients. So today we start laying fiber, got everything spotted and ready to go. It's kind of exciting to get into this new realm of internet providing. But that's about all that's been going on out here. Today's a beautiful day to start trenching. What's going on in your neck of the woods, Dennis?
Oh, not too terribly much. On that fiber that you're running, where are you running it? You said 1,000 feet?
Yeah, just a small. It's a kind of my guinea pig. My office here, my landlord lives behind me, about 400 feet, and then I'm gonna break it out to 3 of his rental trailers that he has in this development he has.
Well, there you go.
So he's kind of our guinea pig to start off our fiber optic initiative with higher speed.
Yeah, you have to start somewhere, man. That's the way
Yeah.
it works. You know, we started it. Man, I'm trying to remember what we did the first time, but we needed it was actually our old office. We were on the neighboring property from where our internet service actually came in, the fiber service from downtown, and we literally went out and bought a roll of fiber and buried it and terminated it, and man, this was a couple of years back, really, and it was pretty cool. It was like, oh, look at that, we got a gigabit of internet all of a sudden. Isn't that really cool, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, just yesterday, we got in the lasers from a supplier, I think it's Fiber Store, out of China, and we got the lasers in, we got the switch in. So what we did is we patched it all together and made it work, and pretty incredible stuff.
There you go. Well, obviously, I'm here in St. Louis, and you know what? I'll tell you what. It's beginning to get a little nicer. We've had this past weekend. We actually had freeze warnings every night. But in the daytime, you know what? It hasn't been too terribly bad. But now, guess what? It's finally starting to warm up. We're starting to see that spring again. We're not supposed to get rain until next week. So this weekend is looking like a barbecuing, softball playing, type of get outside and have a good time weekend, if that makes sense to you.
A nice spring weekend.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for anyway. We'll see how it actually works out, because obviously in St. Louis or Missouri, take your pick. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, because you never know what you're going to get.
Exactly. So anything on the news front that we should know about for all of us WISPs out here?
Well, there's always stuff going on, and I'll turn our attention here. Upcoming here, the April end of this month, April 28th through the 29th. Let me see if I can toss this up on the screen here. Here we go. Boom, there we go. Nice little transition. My little video slid over. It's starting to look cool, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So we have the Microtix user meeting in the United States. This is April 28th and 29th. These guys really get around. There's a lot of Microtix user meetings. We also call them MUMs. This one here is going to be in, I believe, Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Fort Worth, April 28th, 29th. Good stuff. It's actually at I believe it's at the American Airlines Training Center, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Venue. If I hit the right button, it might help. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the American Airlines Training and Conference Center. Pretty nice place. I'm going to give you a little history on this place. We went to this place, maybe 2009, 2010. It's been a number of years back that we actually had a mum there. So I'm sure that's why they're going back. It's a very nice area, very nice hotel and facility. But while I was there, Steve, they had these little walkways between the convention center and the hotel. And the walkway, we were walking on one of these, and I stopped and I looked up, and up in the corner they had a Air Bridge Total still running. And that was, I mean, don't get me wrong, that was like 6 or 7 years ago, but that was 10 years old or something like that back then.
Airbridge, I remember those.
Yeah. I mean, that Airbridge is what I actually started some of the very first products. I mean, I started with some BreezeCom, some Proxim, that type of stuff. But I actually used Airbridges. I seen some of those goofy people put in Airbridge indoor radios sitting inside a NEMA enclosure with a coax cable going out, and just complete how I call it hokum. Technology. Let's just cobble it all together like we did back then, and try to make it work.
Like CB3s and a Rutina.
Oh yeah, we did tons of those. They worked really, really well. So
yeah.
But at any which rate, the big thing here is the MUM is coming up. If you haven't been to one, let's see here. We're going to see. They actually had one in Cuba. As you can see, they really get around. Canada, Spain, Argentina, Japan, Moscow, Indonesia. I'm just kind of going back here. Last year we had it in Miami. It was actually we had one in Pittsburgh too. That was the year before. Really great thing. I just got some of the pictures up here. Lots of great people, lots of trainers, lots of booths. It's kind of like a little mini show, but it is really focused on microtech. And one thing that you will find that is really different from the MUM meetings versus the WISPA meetings is that obviously everything's really focused on microtech. But it's just such a small avenue in general. Normally we go to let's go back to WISP America in Kentucky that we just had. That was over 700 attendees, and these are only maybe 200 to 300, if that. So we get quite a few less attendees. It's a much smaller event, but it's still fun. There's definitely not any issue with it at all. So definitely, if you are interested in microtech, etc., I highly recommend you go back and they have MUM in 2006 pictures on here from the U.S. Wow, that's like and here's Orlando.
Did everyone have mullets?
No. But it's just kind of interesting. I mean, this was it. I mean, whenever you're looking at some of these pictures, I mean, and you can go online, mum.microtech.com, and see all these. But, these events that back in 2007, we're talking, 80, 90 people, if that. But always a good time. And
Lane Tech's going to be in Dallas this year?
Yeah. Link Technologies and Tire Coverage will all be there. We'll have our sales guys there. We'll have hopefully all of our products there, things like that. We've been pretty much to every U.S. MUM that there has been. Even we've had some here in St. Louis. They kind of move it about, so it's definitely coming up. If that's something that you might be interested in to see, and it's technically or typically much more technical than most of the other shows, but it is coming up. It is a easy venue to get to because it is in Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas. For me, it's just like a hour and a half flight or something like that. It's real quick, but it's always a really good thing to get into and to take a look at. So that is coming up, just so everybody knows as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, some other news that we got going on. This is more for Link Technologies. Obviously, we sponsor the show here. So, what's going on with Link Technologies? Well, we've had Telerad in stock. We've been doing that for quite a while. Still good stuff. Still selling quite a bit of it, etc. But the big thing is we have a significant ready-to-ship stock of B11s. So, Mimosa B11s. If you're looking for 11 gigahertz licensed links, we have those in stock and can ship typically same day if you wish to. So always really, really good. We typically we get people that ask this question: how much are they? Where are we at in those types of costs? I always use the retail costs, because obviously if you're buying a whole bunch or something like that, then you get those discounts. But we do a number of complete links, so both ends, your power injectors, everything you need, and 2-foot dishes, as well as we add your frequency coordination. So we actually handle all of your frequency coordination. You have to give us all the information, tower locations, heights, things like that. But typically that cost is right under $7,000. Now, what's real nice is that we do offer financing, leasing through a leasing company, and we can actually roll in not only your equipment costs, but also all of your FCC licensing costs and your frequency coordination costs. So basically take that $7,000, we give you a single invoice, which is typically really, really nice. A lot of people don't do that. You're going to have to go to a frequency coordinator, get that done. You're going to have to get to the FCC and pay them. You're going to have to get the radios, all that kind of good stuff. So we can give you a single invoice. We can pass that on to a well-known leasing corp that we work with, or if you have your own, we can try to work with them as well. And then all of a sudden you just get a monthly bill or a monthly payment versus the $7,000. But you do the math on some of this, right? And you think about it. What does $7,000 cost? And I like to use this. Let's just say $7,000. Now, we're not going to figure interest and all that, but let's just figure 2 years. Okay, that's a $300 payment without interest. So in that time, you have a $300 payment to make, easy enough. And like most 11 gigahertz products or licensed products, these things are rock solid. Other than a direct lightning strike, there you go. We do have quite a few people picking up a extra radio, another spare radio, and that's something else that if you don't think about it, think about this. Seeing that they're licensed radios, you typically have those in stock?
No.
In other words, do you have one sitting on your shelf? Usually you do not. So you need to have one someplace you can get them quickly. And we have them in stock, so that's not a problem. But at these prices, at the prices that you're buying for these B11 radios, and since you can just stock one product, in other words, if you had 20 B11 links out there, all you need is one B11 to back up all of those. It's not like you have to order a specific frequency like many other licensed vendors. So because of that, you can stock a single radio for a backup or a spare. And again, lightning strikes do happen, but that is the typical. We get a lot of people, they're buying their first link, they'll buy an extra radio just in case. And again, you toss that into your licensing agreement or into your lease, and it really doesn't cost a whole terrible lot. But we do have those in stock, and we're shipping today. We got a number of customers that have been asking about the A5Cs. So let me see if I can pull that up for everybody, because I know people were asking about it. And these are Mimosa products as well. I just want to pull up the web page here for Mimosa so that you can see what the products we're talking about. So Mimosa has had their C5 and C5C, and these are, there's actually a C5C and a C5 Lite kit, and these are their point-to-point products. Now what they have is they are going to add another C5 product, which is strictly a point-to-point, a client radio for their point-to-multipoint products, which those products are their A series. The A5, which is the little circular, tubular-looking antenna-like thing there on the left side. It looks like an Omni, but is not, according to them. We're going to have to get them on here to clarify that one. and then they have their multi-point connectorized access point, the A5C. And these are really what I think a lot of people are waiting for, because these are designed for high capacity 4x4 MIMO, and with the proper antenna that supports that, we end up getting a significant amount of gain and a little bit of beamforming, things like that. So really good stuff. Those are literally on their way to our office, to our warehouses right now. In other words, they have shipped. They are on their way. They're not even in the ocean anymore. They are in the U.S. Scary. So if you're interested in those products, we do have those. I pretty much will guarantee you, based on our pre-orders already, that we'll probably, if we haven't, I don't think we have yet, but I think within, as soon as we get them, they will only be on our shelves for a few days, because once we get them, then we notify everybody else, and then boom, everybody grabs them. So if you're interested in the first round of the A5Cs, let us know. The A5, if you didn't go to WISP America, something that a lot of people did not notice or did not know about is that mimosas work together with another one of our industry's not leaders. I'm gonna say a leader, but another one of our industry's well-known companies, and that is KP Performance, and they make, of course, antennas, things like that. And KP, we have we sell KP quite a while. We have done that quite a while. And what we have basically is Mimosa has gotten with KP, and KP has created a antenna very specifically for their A5C. It's a 4x4 MIMO radio, and the whole point of this is that you have it, it mounts very easy. It's very, very straightforward. Very, very quick, etc. So the point being is that, again, with Link Technologies being a seller, we sell both the KP and the Mimosa product. Again, you can go back to our site. You can order those either online or give us a call. And again, single invoice, and everything gets shipped to you. So you don't have to go to KP and buy stuff. You don't have to go to Mimosa and buy stuff and go 4 different places, if that makes sense. We always try to get that, be that one-stop shop so you have everything that you need. So lots of good stuff in there.
So we interviewed Mimosa on the show about their online tool and trying to make things easier for ISPs to get involved in the licensing thing. And, I just want to throw out there again that you guys are offering even more value add by doing the coordination one bill. And to me, it seems very reasonable considering, if you do it on an individual basis, I paid like $1,500 for a coordination study and getting all the FCC stuff all squared away. So Link Techs offers, a one-stop shop when dealing with this, and, pairing that up with the ease of use with Mimosa. Dennis, I was wondering, do you have login to the Mimosa back end where you can take a look at their planning tool? I was messing around with that on Saturday, and very, very helpful, whether you guys use Mimosa or not. It gives you an idea of what kind of people, they overlay the map that you want to drop your stuff on, and you can overlay it with existing FCC licensed 11 gig gear. Do you have the ability to show that, Dennis?
Yep. We just put that up there for everybody. So this is actually St. Louis area, so you can see the St. Louis map, and you can see where all the, in this case, they have a drop down. This is just the 11 gigahertz, but they just recently added, and this was another announcement at WISP America, and that's kind of one of the reasons why we wanted to talk about WISP America today, was that not only did they add, originally it was just the 11 gigahertz, which is really good stuff. There's definitely not a problem with that. But now they've added the 6 gigahertz, which I just tossed in there, and you can see there's a lot of, in my area, the 6 gigahertz versus the 11 gigahertz. The 11 gigahertz definitely shorter links, but there's a lot of 6 gigahertz out there in my area, which is always interesting. And then we have the 13 gigahertz, very, very few. They're all right downtown. 18 gigahertz. Again, those are going to be short links, but they're mostly in the St. Louis area, things like that. There's definitely quite a few of those. Some 23 gigahertz licensed links in there. What is that sucker? I think there's a couple of these that might be a little off, because there's a licensed link here. It says from Colorado to Virginia.
Well, I was going to throw out there when I was messing around with this, I have a 30 mile 11 gigahertz link, SAF link that works outstanding. And I was looking at that same list that you're looking at and the map, and my 11 gig didn't show up on it. So it's not absolutely perfect, but
Oh, it's not
I
going to be. Yeah,
not
yeah.
paid a fee to the FCC to finalize this. I think I should have, but it's not absolutely perfect. But it gives you a good idea of, initial pre-planning of your path.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the Mimosa is going to give you. Here's what the tool that Mimosa gives you, and I want to kind of point this out. So I'm going to get off this. I'm going to go back to the 11 gigahertz. Lots of them there, and I'm going to zoom into a link that we were looking at here. Okay. So here's this link, and what this design tool gives you is it gives you the ability to select location A, location B, what size antenna. What kind of radio? So is it United States or is it not? All that kind of good stuff. And I would have to find these again here. Let me find these points here just so I can be. It's already there. I don't know why it changed, but whatever. So you take these 2 points and you put them in here, or try to. And basically, you can create the path analysis. It's going to tell you what your reliability is going to be. Once you get all that data in here, and again, I'd have to go through here and design it, etc. Yeah, I know I want to save my changes. But once you get this link, here it is. Edit this link. Could have edited it. It'd be a lot easier. All of a sudden, it shows you your basic path analysis. Now, it doesn't show your land cover. It doesn't show your trees. So you have to be real careful on that because it doesn't necessarily show you everything. As you can see in this particular image here, we have this link here, and it shows link distance is 21 kilometers, our SNR, our phi rate, our all that kind of good stuff. And it comes up here. Here's B11, how high is your towers, and then what's your channel width, and then what size antennas. Now, Mimosa gives us 3 different sizes, a 680 millimeter, 900, and 1200. And these are actually much more accurate to the actual antenna sizes. In general, a 680 is a 2-foot, a 900 is a 3-foot, and a 1200 is a 4-foot. Is it exactly that? No. But notice, even on a 2-foot, you get 35 dB a gain. Okay? So on a 3-foot, you get 37 and a half, and then you take that and you double it because, of course, you have two of them on either end. But what's real nice with this is once you put all the information in, you get all the stats, you get all the information, and then you can go ahead and do the coordination. And let me explain this to you. What this does is it basically allows you to give all the information, GPS, antenna heights, what type of antennas, what type of radios, all that kind of good stuff. It gives you that information and then says, and gives that information to a frequency coordinator. Now, because there's a lot of other things you have to do. You can't just, it's not just, oh, click here, sign up, and it's just done. It's not that easy. The FCC can't make it that easy for you. But once you get that information to a frequency coordinator, they send letters of notice. There's all kinds of stuff that they actually have to do. And then they actually do the FCC work. And the cost of what the FCC coordinator is doing is more than just the FCC license, because it does include the FCC license. But it also includes all the coordination, all the other stuff that has to be done to get that taken care of. So
all the notices to all other license holders and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. And to be honest with you, it's just a big pain to get all that to work. But you have to have it. And that's the part of the process that you have to have. And there's definitely not a problem with getting that, but you just have to make sure you have it and make sure you get it all done equally. So the big thing here is when we look at the solutions that Mimosa is putting out, we have a B11, we have those in stock. The A5Cs are coming out, 4x4 plus MIMO, plus beamforming. These are the products that are coming out. And this year, there was actually a nifty little forum post, a post I seen out there asking if you were an operator in 2016, what's your radio of choice? What's your flavor of choice? And in all reality, we don't really see any major new product, with the exception of the A5 product and the B11, hitting at the beginning of this year. Everything is going to hit at the end of the year for next year. And did that happen in 2015? Yes, it did. I mean, we had the AC products basically hit in, and we had the B5Cs, the B5s for the backhauls, and then of course products like Ubiquiti. They had some of their AC line. They had some of their Air Fiber X stuff. So that's kind of the cycle. We kind of wait till the end of the year, but it was an interesting little conversation of, there's not really a whole lot new right now that's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
So anyways, that's a good review of the what Mimosa has done to make our lives easier in utilizing their product. I found that tool very helpful because I got a couple of links that I want to plan. But and I'm using a B5 point-to-point, and it's rock solid. And what I want to add there is that their customer support is outstanding. After I ordered this up, I asked them, can you log in there and optimize this thing for me? And they sure enough did, and they got me they squeezed every little bit of bandwidth out of that thing they could, considering the location of the link,
Right. Oh, yeah.
So speaking from experience, pretty rock solid. So let's talk about the WISP America recap. I know we've dabbled in talking about it a little bit in the previous shows, but we had guests. But why don't you go in depth of what you saw and what really stuck out to you as a real winner?
Gotcha. Well, there's definitely things that were there. We had some guys that did antenna alignment tools. Some really, really interesting. I'm not going to sit there and say it was inexpensive, but there was definitely some not inexpensive gear. We had some, there was definitely some new people. There were some new billing platforms. There was some new, really cool, really interesting point to multi-point and point-to-point. They say non-line of sight, but it's still line of sight. They just handle multipath really, really well. There was one company, and I can't think of all the name of it. Again, they're a new WISP vendor member, but they make a radio, and very, very not inexpensive. It's like I think $4 or $8 a radio. But what their claim to fame of that was that you take that radio, you put it up, and let's say you took two of them and you put them back to back, 180 degrees. Big, massive, like 12 by 12 or something like that, or 8 by 8 MIMO panels with beamforming. And the big thing that they said is it doesn't matter where you're at, we can deliver a lot of speed. And the difference was that they said 1200 meg per access point. Now, how do they get that? Well, the way they figure is you're not going to have, this is not like a point-to-multipoint client solution, but what this is a point-to-multipoint backhaul solution, which is really an oddity, kind of an oxymoron whenever you really think about that. How does that really work? Does it work at all or not? But really what it came down to was you could put 6 clients off each radio, and each client could get 200 meg max. It wasn't like you could put one client and get 1200 meg. Did not work. Also, those 6 clients had to be in separate beam patterns. So in other words, they basically had 6 radios, each radio, or 12 radios, I don't know how many radios, it was a lot. Enough radios that they could do 200 meg to 6 clients at the same exact time. So think about kind of like what Mimosa does. The multi-user MIMO is really where they were at, is what they were focused on. They could get 200 meg, but because they had multiple radios, they could get 200 meg to 6 clients simultaneously on the same channel space. So they're not using, half a gig of gigahertz of channel space. They're using the same channel space across 6 clients, but because of it's all built into the one system, all using the same antennas, all that kind of good stuff. When I looked at it, it's expensive. But whenever you think about it, if you have a campus or something like that, having not necessarily dedicated bandwidth, but a considerable amount of bandwidth to each one of these sites is really neat. And I can see where there's probably some very specific applications that type of product would be able to handle. And the way I looked at it was, if I took 2 of them back to back, put them up on a tower. Now I can connect up to 12, six at 180 and 6 at the other 180, up to 12 clients. That would be, in all reality, a client that would feed another access point. So think of it as a small backhaul of up to 200 meg to some, a business park or something like that, which does make sense. Whether or not the financials are there for internet delivery, whole another ball game. But it does make sense that you could use that in an example. Hey, I got same channel space. I'm delivering up to, I got 6 CPEs out there delivering up to 1200 meg total. That isn't a bad way of going whenever you're using the same channel space.
No, absolutely. And I look at it like this. In some instances, I have a relay off of a sector that has clients to it, and this sounds like a point-to-multipoint solution for backhauls, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally sounds, or figuratively anyway, looks like a backhaul product that we could use for point-to-multipoint backhauls, assuming they're outside. There's some gotchas, there's some interesting things in there, but hey, you never know. It may work out really well. And whether or not it's cost effective or not, I don't know. I think they were quoting $4,000 a radio.
Sorry for interrupting, but I think that you mentioned something as spectral efficiency. One channel for all these getting the same equal bandwidth is a big saver too, or spectrum's in high demand.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So what else did you see at the show other than seeing all the old faces?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's about the same. I go to all the shows, so I get to see all that. But for someone that's not in the industry, if you've never been in that industry or ever been, we had the Animal Farm track that went over really well. Lots of people in that, and lots of well-attended sessions.
Would you say that Animal Farm is kind of like Mum? Because Animal Farm was based originally on the Canopy product, and Microtik Mum is based on the Microtik product.
So I'm going to say there are similarities, but it's not the same. And the reason for that is the Animal Farm is a very specific ideal for vendors or radio manufacturers, I should rephrase that, to pay to have a very specific time frame, a good chunk of time to discuss highly technical product details of their products. And that's really what Animal Farm was. Whenever it started with, it was just Cambium or as Motorola back then. But later on, we had Ubiquity, and we had some other manufacturers that would come up there, and for 2 to 4 hours, they would sit there and talk about their product, why their product is superior, and answer the Q&A session, which is also a big part of Animal Farm. The Q&A session of, here's exactly how this works. And they would bring, I remember Motorola, they'd bring in the guys, they'd fly me over from the UK. These are the product engineers. These are the guys that made these products, that develop these products, and that's the kind of people that you're talking to. You're not just talking to salespeople, which is what you mostly see at trade shows. The Mum's going to be a little different. They have definitely exhibitor time, but anybody that wishes to speak on a topic, as long as it relates to Microtek, is basically allowed to. You have to submit your presentation, make sure they allow it, things like that. But anybody can speak about any topic that they wish to, as long as it pertains to Microtek, that is. So these are the types of things that the Mum is a little different, but that's a good thing, because every show should be a little different.
Does I went to the Mum back in Phoenix in 10, and I don't remember, but does Microtek bring in their people who actually design this stuff from Latvia to participate in the show?
So my answer to that is the people that they bring are typically their support and engineers. Do they actually do the board design? Probably not. Or most likely not. Do they actually sit there and help test the products? Do they handle support tickets, things like that on a continual basis, and do they divide those up into, there's a wireless guy, and then there's a CCR guy, and then there's this and that? Yes, they do. So they do bring some very, very knowledgeable tech support and technicians there and engineers there that have worked with the products much more extensively than many people.
Right, and I guess they leverage the microtech gurus like you to show up to these meetings to add real-world value to their product line.
Yeah, and they'll do some new product announcements, if any. They will do some other things similar to that. They will have here's an update. Here's what's going on with Microtech. Here's who we are for newcomers, things like that. So it's always really, really good stuff as well. So
speaking of that, before the show, you mentioned that Microtech had some new stuff coming out, or
yeah. Let me cut over to that on Microtech's website here. So here we go. Foop, there we go again. A little fly-in. Most of the products that we've seen, we've actually already talked about. But there's the LHG5. This is actually their new. They call it a light head grid. I have no idea where they came up with the name for that at. But this is a 802.11 AN product, dual pole with a 24.5 dB grid antenna. And this product is for all practical purposes, it's an extremely nice product, really well made. Seen some of them. The big thing though is this is like designed to be your CPE, right? And I'm gonna put up a bigger image here. It's a pretty small. It's a little bigger than a foot. It's slightly bigger than a foot round. They don't really compact really well for shipping, unfortunately, but it is what it is. But here's the cool part. One, it has your Ethernet. It has everything's already built in. It's complete CPE and a project. The
Wow, that's almost like an SXT Lite.
Well, that's the point here, is that we are down to a $60, 24.5 dB, 5 gigahertz CPE.
Outstanding.
I remember trying to get under 200 for a 2.4 gigahertz CPE that did 6 meg.
Mm-hmm.
CB3s were $100 plus, $120 at one point in time. Plus you had to put in an enclosure because they weren't weatherproof, of course. So this is a really good thing. Now, for those of you that are Microtech people, there is something coming down that's either big or bad. So it depends on how you look at it. Microtech, especially due to recent FCC filings, things like that, has finally started getting their FCC certifications for their bands. So there is new US models, -US. It's a different part number that will be shipping to the US that are FCC certified. And these are going to be both the MANTs, those sector antennas that we talked about before. I'll show you that here in a minute. But any other product that has an antenna, okay, those as a complete system, right? But look at it this way. Right now, we have the standard 5170 to 5250, 725 to 5830, and no DFS support to 5700. So there is a chunk of spectrum that we're missing at this point in time. Microtech, I talked with them a little bit, and they are working on that certification. So you heard it here first, maybe not. They are working on that 55 to 5700 certification. They are currently confident that they will be able to make and open up that band in a future release of Router OS. So whenever the other products, when they get that certification, an upgrade to the Router OS software may allow an older unit to get those bands.
Sweet.
Okay, but there's no guarantees on that. They said obviously things have changed and they don't have an exact answer yet, but it's all good information. They're working on getting that. There is a non-US version of all these products that supports the original 5150 to 5875 range. Okay, as far as purchasing, Link Technologies, anyway, will be bringing in some international versions because we do sell them to Canada, to Mexico, and other areas outside the U.S. But if you are not going, I'm just going to say it this way: if you're not going to use it in the U.S., you can't. But we have to ship it to a U.S. address because we do that for some of our Canadian customers. You do have to sign a "I will not be using this inside the U.S." waiver before we can ship those international versions. So just keep that in mind that is coming down. It is important for you to note those. So,
Hey, quick question on the
shoot.
microtext. I saw something about an LTE, like an SXT that runs in the LTE spectrum. Do you know anything about that?
Yep. It's actually it's already a product that's manufactured. It's called SXT LTE. Actually, I just put it up on the screen. I know. I guess I could share my screen with you, and you could actually see it. Be nice, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
This screen here. There you go. You should be able to see that now.
Yep.
Awesome. So that right there is the SXT LTE. Now the problem we currently have with this is that this is a SXT LTE 3.7. And what the hell does that mean? Well, it's a Category 3 device. But the big thing here is when we look really at the specs, and I don't know if it's right on the front here or not. It says 3.7. This uses the LTE band 3 and band 6, which of course what are the chances of them making a 365, a 2.5, and or a 5 gigahertz version of this? Possible. I'm more interested. Are they going to toss it? Are they going to make a base station? that'd get interesting real quick. But
Right.
So, what was that?
I was just saying, right? Yeah. I mean, this is good for them to start venturing into this.
Oh yeah. I mean, we could easily see that type of information is going to be different and going to be interesting, to say the least. So obviously it's out there, but we don't really have a good use for it inside our U.S. market as of yet.
And one more question.
Yeah, that's what we're here
we
for.
looked up a 5 gig, 1.3 gig megabit card that would sit in your 433 or what have you. Have you heard of or seen that? It's got a huge heat sink on it.
Try that again. You're talking about a radio card.
Yeah, radio card with a huge heat sink on it that they claim can do 1.3 gigs.
No, I don't know of that one. That one's new to me. My assumption is you might have seen like 1600 milliwatt, which is probably what it is because that has a big ass heat sink on it.
Right.
I don't know of one of those. So.
And the other thing, you were talking about this new CPE that dish being price disruptive. I heard rumors that Ubiquity with their 11 gig product is going to be kind of price disruptive as well. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, their pricing is supposed to be $7.99 a radio.
Wow,
is what I heard. When we are going to see that, I don't want to sit there and say that we'll never see it. I'm sure we'll see it. Do I think it's going to be this year? No, I don't think so. I don't have any confidence in that. I would say probably maybe next year. And you never know with Mimosa, they may get the pricing down. And I haven't seen all the specs on it yet and things like that. So looking for this because I want to show everybody. I think it's important. So let me find it here. So they have another product coming out. So they're going to have a WAP micro access.
Yes, I
like hotel, but where it's real nice is it's outside. These things are going to retail for like the new one is going to retail for I believe like $89 or something like that. Yeah, $89. And what's really cool is the new one is 2, 4, and 5 gigahertz, 802.11 AC, the whole shebang. And as you can see here, it's designed for ceiling mount, wall mount, anything like that that you wish to do. It has the PoE injector. Real nice. Your pick. And version of this. But the big thing here is that I look at these $89. Again, this is another one of those real nice radios. Great little radios. Great that'll work with Capsman, especially if you're doing a hotel or building deployment. As soon as we get them in, because they just start. We had older, and this was $45, but these were just 2.4. But so now we have the AC versions that are outdoor as well. So you can mount them on a pole, you can mount them outside on a wall, things like that. So really good stuff. Again, something else new that's just coming out from Microtech.
They look very similar to that. I remember I was talking about doing fiber optics. I ordered up the looks very
FTHs.
similar to this, the media converter.
Yeah, I think they're called FT somethings.
The only downside to them is there's no room to for your splicing your fiber to your pigtail.
Yep. So
if they could redesign that to where we could run a nice loop in it, it'd be perfect.
It's actually probably the exact same case.
Yeah.
The way it looks like. For those of you that are wondering what the heck we're talking about, there's another product called FTC, which again I'll pull up on your screen as well on the show. This is a simple fiber to copper converter. Nothing fancy. You can go from 802.3AF power to all the way down to 12 volts. So 12 to 57 volt, wide range of power. Gigabit. It is a gigabit SFP and a gigabit Ethernet port. Very low price, $40 store ready as well. So we do sell quite a few of these because people do want those. But I understand what you're saying. There's not a whole lot of room for your fiber spool. You just have to make it.
I bought one of those map light.
You got the map. Did you get the map or the map light?
I think the map light.
Yeah, the little bitty one. I mean, the thing is, I'm going to toss it up on the screen for everybody again. But whenever you look at this thing, to really put it in perspective, look at the Ethernet port. It is no thicker than the Ethernet port.
Yeah.
And look at the size of the Ethernet port. It's like a box of matches.
One thing I want to mention about this is you see there it attaches to metal. It has a magnet on it. And when I originally deployed it, I put it on out of a bracket that would hold a radio. I mounted that up on the wall and put this down on it with the magnet. And that magnet just destroyed the whole network. So if you guys deploy this, put it on, don't use the magnet, mount it to the wall somehow. I used a zip tie around it to hold it to the wall, and it worked great. What would be nice is if they could have this in a outdoor unit, but that's what what you were showing us before is designed for.
Yeah. I mean, the fiber to home deployment. We also do. I have a feeling that we're going to start seeing some other fiber to the home products. The 3011 and the 2011 was really designed kind of like their first forte into their powered by Ethernet, gigabit and multiple Ethernet ports, wireless built in, things like that. So we do see that it just doesn't have that outdoor box. If they drop an outdoor box in there, they drop an area where you can spool your wire a little bit. They drop you can do Capsman, so Capsman's enabled by default and all that kind of stuff to be your home router. All of a sudden we could probably see some really nifty stuff inside that product space.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, if you know what I mean.
Right at close price point, because where I installed this was behind it's on the outside, but it's protected from the weather and stuff, and it's mounted up high to where it's kind of under a porch. But it still works great, and I don't anticipate weather getting to it.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, stay away from using that magnet.
So yeah, I mean, there's definitely some new products out there.
Oh, and you mentioned the 3011. There's like a glut in the market for them. I couldn't find any. I was wanting to do that for my office here for this fiber deployment, and just could not find one anywhere on the market. I guess that they're what are they? They're new out there and they're not really shipped, or people got them and gobbled up the whole supply.
Yeah, we well, I think what happened was is exactly what you just said is uh, everybody had them, and then nobody really knew about them, and then everybody found out about them, then everybody started buying them, and then they disappeared.
Right.
So supply and demand is always sometimes hard to get. So
Keep up with, and
yep.
I find that Microtech's pretty good at keeping supplies up, even
One
though they're out.
one thing that I will always give Microtech here credit for, and some people may think this is dumb, but I think it's important, is when they announce a product, typically we've already ordered it. Okay, is an example I'll use. So it's not like they're not accepting orders for it, and they don't even know the price. Hey, half of these things they don't even know the price of them half the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So definitely good stuff. But I really think this LHG. I mean, you think about it, $59, and that's a 24 dB. You can't. What's an SXT? SXT is 13 or 14, and then the reflector adds what, 10 to 12.
Yeah.
So we're right in the same ballpark. And your reflector is some money, your SXT some money, and this is $59, and it's all one unit.
Right. And I think, like you mentioned, if you're in a icy place, that's about the only downside I see.
Yep.
There's
Yeah.
those little grids accumulating ice and degrading the quality of the signal.
Yeah. That's probably your only issue because of it is a grid, but it is.
Like you say, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. So, and they're fairly bulky to ship is probably the only other issue. So if you want some, you probably, I would get some to try them out and see what happens. But in the end, you're probably gonna want to bring a half a pallet or a pallet in, because shipping will be cheaper.
Have you seen anyone using the Dynadish?
I have seen some of those. They definitely do work. I don't think we don't get a whole lot of them though. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's more expensive. About the same. About the same specs. It's actually it's a little bigger. It has the Qualcomm chip in it instead of the standard. I don't remember which one's in the LHG, but it's not. That's a Theros chip versus a Qualcomm chip. So. A little different speed, a little bit, but again, I think the LHG, I'm pretty sure it's also a level 3. Yeah, it's a level 3, so it is really designed for your
client.
Your client, and your Dynadish is it's still a level 3 though. Kind of an oddball because it's using a different CPU. It's using the different wireless chip version, all that kind of good stuff. I'm actually kind of curious on something here, but I'll go check that out here in a second whenever we get off. But I think that's a really good, really good stuff that's going on so far. A lot of great information.
And like we said, price disruptive.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to be competitive, and I think they're being competitive in that market space. Their NV2 protocol has been getting better and better. Every revision, it's better and better. So I definitely don't think that there's a problem with what they're doing. That looked like
an interesting chart. What was that?
That was their product selection. Let me get back to it here. I'll show it to everybody else here. So they have for point to multi-point links, this is their product selection little thing, basically stating what are you trying to do. Both with your Dynadish is going to have the biggest gain, things like that, along with the distance in kilometers, how far out, distance max supported rate at AC. Mm-hmm. So this is your max supported rate at AC levels. And then the difference here is that the Dynadish is an AC product, where the LHG currently is a N product.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get, what they're saying is you're going to get about 8 kilometers out with an LHG at max data rate. Over that, Dynadish. So we're seeing the AC products using the other different chipset, if that makes sense. So, and they also
that's a helpful chart.
Yeah, and they also have a selection guide for point to point, which I'll pull up as well for maybe. It has to pull from Latvia. It's not super quick. Well, I think we're about out of time. While this chart pulls up, we'll just kind of recap. WISP America is coming up in October. We have the MUM here coming up next couple weeks here in April. All really good stuff. Here's your point-to-point stuff. Again, I'll put that back up for everybody so that you guys can see it. There it is. This kind of, if you're doing LHG to LHG, max data rate's about 12 kilometers. Whereas you go to the Dynadish, you're at about 14 kilometers. And the difference is, those you're also at the max supported AC rate as well.
Right.
And then this is the estimated signal range. And this, of course, depends on your radios. It depends on your and note if you come down here, if you go to the Dynadish, the white is the max distance supported by the max data rate. And this is just in theory, so keep in mind interference, etc. But 13 and a half to 13 3/4 distance for AC if you have two Dynadishes. But if you are just looking at N rates, almost 45 kilometers. So
that's a good point-to-point solution.
Yeah. I mean, as far as point-to-point stuff, you're looking really good. Your LHGs max data rate is going to be 12 kilometers and N. And I'm assuming it's just the differences in antennas and minimum signals and all that kind of good stuff,
right.
and receive sensitivities. Because when we look at the QRTs and the Dynadishes, these are really a different product. A lot of people don't really realize that. The QRTs, so the Dynadishes has that other radio, and if we look for the QRTs, wherever the heck they may be.
They're there.
There they are. Whoop, let's do a 5 gigahertz. They are more expensive, but again, when we look at the specs, we're definitely using the different radio cards. We're using the different, same CPUs, but different radio cards. Well, this one's an AR, so they're definitely a different product. So see what happens. The Dynadish is definitely a different product as well. So lots of great products from both Microtech, from the user meeting that we're going to see, and I expect to see some new products there as well that we don't know about. I'm real excited about the WAP ACs, because I want to the $89 reach. I wouldn't even bother with indoor units for the most part. I'd much rather have a wall mountable, easy Ethernet cables, all enclosed, everything like that unit. And I think we'll be deploying quite a few of these.
Good.
So.
Oh, good news on the Microtech front. Talk a little bit about the Mimosa product, the ease of use, and like I said, LinkTex takes the ease of getting into licensed, building on what Mimosa has built as well. I think it's a win-win, especially if you've never deployed licensed links. It's not brain surgery, guys. It's totally doable.
Yeah. Now I do want to point out. So we've had this question come up a couple times, and that's where the question is whenever we're looking at a licensed product like the 11 gigahertz, okay, what happens when we have two back-to-back? So let's say we have a tower in the middle, and we're coming from tower A to tower B to tower C. Does that mean my frequency coordination is going to be cheaper? The answer is no. It's still frequency coordination. It's easier. And the reason why it's easier is because with the B11s, we have GPS sync. So we can, in fact, say to the FCC on our second license that we can retransmit on the same frequency off that same tower. You see what I'm saying? So it makes it easier for us to reuse 11 gigahertz frequencies, have that sync availability, and it's easier to get the license, but it's still those. But
price per link.
Right, exactly. So it doesn't matter if you have 3 links coming to one tower, it's still 3 links. I will note that if you do have multiple links and multiples that you need to get done, give our sales guys a call, because we do offer discounts for quantities like that. So give us a call. We can see about even if we can get some discounts on the link path analysis or the frequency coordination as well. I believe that there is some discounts for bulk of those as well. So give us a call. That's all I can say. I can't stress that enough. We get a lot of people that are like, why haven't you, why can't you do this? Well, did you call and ask us if we could? Because most of the time we can, and we've been there, done that. We've been around for quite a while. We know what most people, what we need to do. You know what I'm saying?
And what works.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, we do not sell virtually any products. I'm not going to say all, because we do sell quite a bit of Ubiquity that, and we don't use those in our networks as much as possible, but we do sell a lot of networks out there that a lot of products that we do use, and we can give you some direct feedback as well.
Right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap the show up. Outstanding show talking about the 2 products that both of us use. Next week, it looks like we've got these next week, and hopefully we'll be able to get Jack Unger, FCC grandfather and technical guidance person for WISPA, to come on the show and tell us a little bit about what have him look into his crystal ball and see what we may be able to see coming down the pike. We're mid-April when we're anticipating some sort of ruling on the Title II issues. But with that, unless you got something else, Dennis, could wrap the show up.
Excellent. I think we're all good. There was some good articles about LTEU and LTAA. Or LAA, I don't remember which acronym it was, but we'll maybe get somebody on to talk about that. So before we go, I actually have a chat window asking all these questions. Today, to make sure, Steve. Yep, we'll.
Thank you for listening to ISP Radio. We hope you've gained new insights and additional wisdom in our industry as well as your business. Please remember to visit our show sponsors via the links on ispradio.com. If you're interested in becoming a show sponsor, contact us at sales@ispradio.com. Now go out there and push those packets as fast as you can. Good luck.